Hey guys, Earth Twister here, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're beginning a series of videos where we're going to be taking each Marvel Champions hero through a series of battles against a thematic villain for them. For example, we have Magneto versus En Sabah Nur here. And we're going to be taking them through each of the four aspects to see how good of a hero they can be, as well as which aspect may be best for them, at least in the scenario that we are taking them in. Now, each hero is going to have a different villain they'll face, but they will face the same villain each of the four times. Today, as I said, we're beginning with Magneto and aggression. So let's go ahead and draw up our hand size of 6 and get started. That is actually a pretty good hand to start with, but I think we have a couple of cards we'll mull again. I'm going to think about which ones as I set our health dials here. So Magneto has 10 health. We'll put that up there. And En Sabah Nur, I believe, begins with 20. He's got double my health here. Now, I have um, built the best aggression deck that I feel like I can for Magneto. There may be a few things that we could tweak, but I went through all of the aggression cards that I have to see which ones would be best for him. Although there may be a few things, like I said, we could tweak and remove. So before we get started, Ancient Ritual comes in with 5 threat. In Sabah Nur's Pyramid says that I deal myself 1 face down encounter card, and then we flip over, and it starts with 1 threat. Okay. Right now, I do have Apocalypse sleeved up, but I will unsleeve him if he goes into the giant form. All right, so I don't think I'm quite ready for White Queen. She's a little too expensive, so I'm going to discard her. I don't have any minions out there right now, so we're going to get rid of Wrapped in Metal. Combat training can be good. Magneto's Cape is a definite yes. And the X-Jet would be really good to get to keep too. Let's go ahead and draw the other 2 cards. We got Utopia and Martial Prowess. So many great decisions to choose from here. All right. Fortunately, we may be able to get more of these down than just one here shortly. I'm going to go ahead and flip up. And as I flip up, I'm going to get a ready token for myself. Then I'm going to use an energy here as 2 resources to pay for Magneto's Cape. So that gives me the aerial trait, gives Magneto the aerial trait, and I can exhaust it to ready him after I use the Magneto's magnetic pool. So I'm going to go ahead and thwart 2 here off of Ancient Ritual. And before I make a decision on what I want to do with these cards, we're going to do the magnetic pool. 1, 2, we get Asteroid M. Another card I want. Great. Let's go ahead, and I do get 2 ready from that. We'll do Martial Prowess, and honestly, yeah, we'll do Martial Prowess, Combat Training, and Utopia for 3 resources to play X-Jet. In the long run, that's going to help me get more cards down. So really, those other ones, we can get them on another deck pass. Or I can flip down and hopefully get those 3 in my hand at a later time. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and swing for another 2 threat here off of Ancient Ritual just to help negate any extra encounter cards that we may end up getting. All right, now that we're there, I don't have enough resources to pay for Asteroid M, so let's go ahead and ready and draw up our hand of 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Where was Strength when I needed it last time? Gambit may be a good card to play. All right, so threat goes up by 1. And En Sabah Nur's Pyramid has a forced response that says after resolving step 1 of the villain phase, which is putting threat here, place 1 power counter. All right, and if there are at least 4 power counters here, the first player removes 4 of them and discards cards from the top of the encounter deck until a superpower card is discarded and reveals it. There's only 1. Great. So now Apocalypse is going to attack me for 3 plus a boost. I think I'm going to defend for 2. Defend for 2, so he's attacking for 3. And that's it. So 3 is all he's dealing. So I take 1 damage. Takes me from 10 down to 9. All right. Then we get an encounter card, and that gives us 2 total. We start with a scheme. So he schemes for 1, and then he gets changed to biomorph form, which he's already in. So that's just 1 threat going on there. And this encounter card, technological interface. If Apocalypse is in Cyberpath form, which he is not, he activates against you. Otherwise, change Apocalypse to Cyberpath form and place 1 power counter on the main scheme. Wonderful. So he flips over. And he has a force response. After Apocalypse changes to this form, place 2 threat on each scheme in play. So he gets a power counter, and he puts 2 threat on each scheme. So that takes the main scheme up to 5 out of 8, and Ancient Ritual goes up to 3. Not ideal. All right, so I think what I want to do here, I'm going to go ahead and use, well, I think we're going to start with doing the magnetic pull. So 1, 2, ooh, we got Master of Magnetism, which is good because I'm going to use Master of Magnetism and a magnetic missile to play Gambit. Yeah, because I don't have Utopia. So Gambit says after Gambit enters play, look at the top 3 cards of the encounter deck and tuck 1 under him so that only the boost field is visible. The top 3 cards, we've got a Master Plan, which is really not that big of a deal for me right now. A giant-sized Despot, which would make him would make Gambit a 0, and it's not too big of a deal if he changes to Giant. But Scarab has 3 boost cards or boost icons, so let's go ahead and do that. And then that goes there. So it says look, it doesn't say search. So I don't think we shuffle the encounter deck, but correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. So Gambit is now a 3/3/3. That's actually amazing. And I did get to ready from Magneto's Cape. I forgot to do that a little bit ago. So I can thwart for 2, he can thwart for 3. Awesome. And then I'm going to use Strength to pay for Asteroid M, which could be really good for us here. Okay. So what I'll do is Gambit is going to go ahead and thwart 3 from here, and I will thwart 2. Then I'm going to flip down. And when I flip down, I can shuffle the top 3 cards of my discard pile into my deck. So we'll go ahead and do that. It'll be good to have some more magnetic cards to pull. Then I can use Asteroid M. So Asteroid M, I exhaust that. I get to heal a damage from my identity, taking me back up to 10. I forgot Gambit does take a consequential. And then I get to shuffle the topmost magnetic card in my discard pile into my deck. So that is a Rafted Metal. And that'll get shuffled in. Okay, now my hand size is 6. So let's go ahead and draw up. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So many good cards. Okay. So now threat goes up by 1. Apocalypse will scheme for 3 plus a boost. 3. And giant sized despot. After this activation, change Apocalypse to giant form. He schemes for 3. Forgot that the power counter goes there, so that's 3 on there. And then he changes to giant form. So we'll take him out of his sleeve here. Then we get an encounter card. Master Plan. Place 4 threat on each side scheme. So that takes Ancient Ritual from 3 up to 7. Forgot to ready. All right. So what I want to do here, there's no reason to trigger Asteroid M right now. I don't need a heal, so let's go ahead and flip up. What do I have? Do I have Magneto's armor? I do. So, hold on. Before I flip up, I forgot about this. I'm going to use X Mansion and Digging Deep as 2 resources to pay for Moira McTaggart. Then I will flip up. I didn't do anything else, but yeah, so now that I flip up, Moira will trigger drawing me a card. So I get triage. The best thing to do here really is to use triage and Wolverine as two resources to pay for Magneto's armor. We'll actually put this here. And Magneto's armor is whatever cards I discard from the top of my deck, whatever resources are printed there. Then I get that as boosted stats. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and I'll thwart 2 off of Ancient Ritual here. And there is a forced response here when he changed to giant form, but it doesn't happen because there is no health for him to heal. So I thwarted 2 there. I'm going to go ahead and trigger my magnetic pool. So I discard cards from the top of my deck. Okay, so far that we discarded all 3 resource types, so we get a boost of 1 to each of my stats. So we get an electromagnetic blast to our hand, which we already have. So what we can do, Magneto's Cape will ready me. I can use the X-Jet and an electromagnetic blast. We'll thwart 3 to play an electromagnetic blast to thwart 3 from there. And Gambit will thwart 3 from Ancient Ritual. Okay. That puts Gambit like that. Then I can still attack and defend for 3, so I'm going to attack Apocalypse for 3. He just has Stalwart, no Retaliate or anything, so he goes from 20 down to 17. Okay. We're going to ready up. Draw our hand of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, one of the main things about this deck is I have Hone Technique in here to trigger with Dive Bomb. And Dive Bomb will deal 7 damage to an enemy and deal 1 damage to each other enemy. And then Hone Technique, if I pay for Dive Bomb with a mental resource, then it'll end up adding the cost of that card into the damage that this does. So it'll be a 11 damage plus a 5 damage to every other enemy, which is a really solid thing. But as you can see, there's no Hone Technique on the table yet. Okay, so threat goes up by 1. We get a power counter. That is 4 power counters, so we remove all 4. And we discard cards from the top of the encounter deck until we get a superpower. There's a superpower. It is the plugged in side scheme. Comes in with 5 threat. And it has a crisis icon on it. So I can't thwart from the main until I get everything off of plugged in. And it says when defeated, if Apocalypse is in Cyberpath form, he activates against the player who defeated the scheme. Otherwise, change Apocalypse to Cyberpath form and give him a tough status card. All right. So now Apocalypse is going to attack me for 3. I'm going to defend for 3 because I discarded an energy resource. So he's attacking for 3, 4. I take 1 damage. Takes me from 10 down to 9. And then we get an encounter card, Biomorphic Blast. If Apocalypse is in Biomorph form, which he is not, he activates against you. Otherwise, change Apocalypse to Biomorph form and place 1 power counter on the main scheme. So he's going to change to Biomorph form. And the forced response there is after Apocalypse changes to this form, deal 2 indirect damage to each player. So I'm going to go ahead and take 2 straight to my identity here. And he has Retaliate 1. This says to put a power counter on the main scheme if he wasn't in Biomorph form. All right. I think the main thing we'll do here, I don't really have a whole ton I can do with my hand. I suppose I could Dive Bomb. But getting Magneto's helmet down may be better. So we'll use these as 3 resources to pay for Magneto's helmet, which is a resource generator specifically for magnetic cards. Then all I have are 2 resources in hand, so I'm going to discard cards from the top of the encounter deck until I get a magnetic card because of my ability. All right, we got a magnetic missile, which still leaves us without much to do, except I ready from Magneto's Cape, and I get +1 attack and +1 thwart from the armor. All right. Um, so I think what I'm gonna do, I'll go ahead and thwart 3 off of plugged in. And I think I'm going to do something a little risky here. I'm gonna go ahead and flip down, and I'm gonna leave the threat there. I'm gonna shuffle the top 3 cards in my deck into the or of the discard pile into my deck. I'm gonna use Asteroid M to heal 1 from my identity and shuffle the topmost magnetic card into my deck, which happens to be this resource card. Okay. I'm gonna hold on to 1 dive bomb, but I'm gonna get rid of these 2. Alright, that is all I can do, so I'm going to ready and drop to my hand of 6. 3, 4, 5, 6. We got Dive Bomb, Genius, Endurance, Psylocke, Build Support, and Magnetic Missile. Okay. Threat goes up by 1. Apocalypse Schemes for 1 plus a boost. Oh, and we do put 1 token here. 1. Ooh, an advance. Perfect. So that takes up to 4. Then we get an encounter card. Celestial Tech. For each Celestial Tech attachment in play, resolve its effect as if the attached villain just schemed against you and attacked you. If there are no Celestial attachments on the villain, search the encounter deck and discard pile for a Celestial attachment and reveal it. I'm pretty sure there isn't one, so I'm going to go ahead and reveal not the weapon, the little armor here. And that says when the villain schemes against you, discard the top card of your deck, and if that card's resource has any of those icons, it does something special. All right, we are all shuffled up here. Okay, that was the encounter card. So now it's my turn. I'm going to use Magnetic Missile to pay for Endurance. So Endurance comes down in here. That's going to give me plus 3 health, so it takes me up to 11 out of 13. Asteroid M is going to trigger. Take the magnetic missile and put it back in my deck. And heal me 1. I'm going to flip up. Moira will trigger, drawing me a card. Get wrapped in metal. Okay. I'm going to use wrapped in metal to pay for build support. Build support comes in with 3 threat. And then I've got Dive Bomb, Psylocke, and honestly, what I will do, I'm going to thwart 2 from plugged in. Ooh, no, actually, I won't do that. Gambit is going to take care of build support for us. He's going to sacrifice himself to take care of build support. So he's going to thwart 3 off of there, which allows me to search my deck and discard pile for support of 3, cost 3 or less, and put it into play. So I could get Helicarrier, or I could get Utopia, which Utopia is honestly cheaper, so it's going to be easier to play. I could also get X-Mansion. Let's do Helicarrier. That'll help me be able to play more things. There we go. Build support gets removed from game. Then I'm going to use Magneto to thwart 2 from plugged in. When defeated, if Apocalypse is in Cyberpath form, he activates against the player who defeated the scheme. Otherwise, change Apocalypse to Cyberpath form. Okay? So he's going to change to Cyberpath form. And when he does, he's going to place 2 threat on each scheme in play. So we take 3 off of here for that. So we're at 6 threat on the main and 4 threat on Ancient Ritual. I'm going to use Magnetic Pool. Oh, there goes Hone Technique. Dang it. We get a Master of Magnetism. We get to Ready. There is a mental and a physical. So what I will do, what do I have in my hand? Could play Psylocke and then confuse him. But he could go Stalwart. Or I could just do a Dive Bomb and deal 7 damage to him. I think I'm going to thwart for 3, taking this from 6 down to 3. Yeah, we'll go ahead and do Genius and got Retaliate. That's okay. I'm going to use Genius and Master of Magnetism as 4 resources to pay for Dive Bomb. And we're going to deal 7 damage to Apocalypse, taking him from 17 down to 10. He does retaliate against me for 1. And I still have Psylocke in hand, which will save because I can't pay for her. Then we'll ready and draw up. 2, 3, 4, 5. Threat goes up by 1. Apocalypse is going to attack me for 1 plus a boost. I'll defend for 2. He attacks for 1. And I either place 3 threat on Ancient Ritual, which would take it from 4 to 7, or this card gains 3 boost icons, which means I would take 2 damage. I think I can do that. We'll take 2 damage, so we'll go from 11 down to 9. And then I forgot that this does get a charge icon or whatever it's called, a power counter. Okay, so he attacked me. Now it's an encounter card of Clan Akaba Zealot with guard. It's actually not bad. Because, well, first of all, I'm going to use Magnetic Pool. I get a Metal Shards. So that's a mental and a physical. So I get +1 thwart, +1 attack. I get to ready. Then I'll use a Metal Shard. Ooh, actually. So first of all, Magneto's Helmet and Master of Magnetism will pay for 3 resources for Metal Shards, deals 7 damage to an enemy, and if this attack defeats that enemy, gain a tough status card. So I'm going to defeat Clan Akaba Zealot with it. Once that happens, I place 2 threat on Ancient Ritual. So it goes from 4 up to 6. But I get a tough status card. And then Helicarrier will pay for Death Focus. You can still see that there. Man. Don't have enough resources for everything. I'm gonna thwart for 3 off of the pyramid here. And I kind of want to flip down, but at the same time, I'm in a pretty good spot What are the top 3 cards in my deck? Those aren't too big of a thing. So I don't want to attack him just yet because I would lose tough. But I could stun him. But he could just immediately flip up to giant form. And I only have 3 resources in hand. I have that helps with metal shards, but it doesn't help with anything else. So I think actually I'm gonna keep these 3 cards in hand and draw up 2. Okay. And I'm gonna ready. Threat goes up by 1. We get a power counter, which takes it from 3 to 4. We discard cards from the top of the encounter deck until we get a superpower. Okay, so it's a scheme. Comes in with 5 threat. Then Apocalypse will scheme against me for 3, 4, 5, and a threat on Ancient Ritual. This makes it so 3, 4, 5, 6. So that makes that pop. Okay, there's no when defeated. This says, when revealed, the first player discards cards from the top of the encounter deck until a superpower card is discarded and reveals it. Okay, so we'll do that. There is Staggering Strength. And attach to Apocalypse and change him to giant form. So it is a 3, 5. But now, because he schemed against me, this comes in with 1 threat. Since he schemed against me, I discard the top card of my deck. It is a mental resource, which makes me confused, but I get to discard this. Okay. So that triggered all of that. So we still get an encounter card, which is a Clan Akaba Zealot. Not terrible. Not terrible at all. We just have to make careful decisions. I'm going to thwart to remove my confused. Then X-Jet, Helicarrier, X-Gene, and Dropkick will pay for Psylocke. She comes in with 2 psionic counters. But she has 2 thwart. Okay. Then what I'm going to do is use Magnetic Pull. Ooh, immediately get Magnetic Missile. Which readies me. That was a physical, so I can deal 3 damage. Or I can thwart for 2. So we're not going to be able to clear Source of Power. But it would be good to get rid of Clan Akaba Zealot. For sure. I think what I'll do, looking at this here, Magneto, because he has a 3 attack right now, is going to go ahead and get rid of the Clan Akaba Zealot. And what's going to be really good for me here is to stay up. So I'm going to use Magneto's Helmet to generate a resource for Magnetic card. Metal Shards and Magnetic Missile are going to generate 2 more resources to pay for Magnetic Bubble. So I can take a pretty big hit here from Apocalypse. Psylocke will go ahead and thwart 2 off of Source of Power, taking it from 5 down to 3. Okay, we'll go ahead and ready up. Draw up our hand of 5, so we have 3 there. That means we deck out, so once we finish shuffling and drawing up our hand, we'll get ourselves an extra encounter card. Okay. Power of Aggression, Full Body Charge, Avengers Mansion, and 2 Wrapped in Metals. Hmm. Okay. Encounter card. All right. So threat goes up by 1. We get a power token. Okay. Then he will attack me for 3, 4, 5 plus a boost. I'm going to let it come to me. I always forget what triggers first. This is the Forced Interrupt, so it's tough. I think we'll say it comes to the Magnetic Bubble first. 5, and then he would get changed to Giant form. I am stunned, but that gets discarded. And we take 5 damage straight to the bubble. Okay, then we get an encounter card. First one here. Caught off guard, discard an upgrade or support you control. I think at this point, Moira McTaggart is the least helpful. And we get Technological Interface. If Apocalypse is in Cyberpath form, he activates against you. Otherwise, change him to Cyberpath form and place 1 power counter on the main scheme. He changes to Cyberpath. Places 2 threat on each scheme in play. Forgot that she should have a consequential. Okay, Ancient Ritual is now at 9. Okay, so that was that. Um, okay. I don't want a full body charge. He does have Retaliate 1, so that would immediately knock off my bubble. There's no point to that. I will go ahead and attack to clear my stunned, though. Then I will use Magnetic Pool. We get a Metal Shards. We discarded 1 of each resource there. So our stats get boosted each. Cape readies us. It's not my thwart card, which is not ideal, but I do have 3 threat. Could change him to Biomorph and then run him over. And then flip down. I don't have a way to thwart besides with my ally and my hero. All right, so we're gonna thwart 3 here. She'll thwart 2. Gives her a consequential. And then if Apocalypse is defeated, or if this is defeated, Apocalypse is in Biomorph form. He activates against you. He is not. He's in Cyberpath. So change into Biomorph form and give him a tough status card. Okay, so he flips to Biomorph and gets a tough 2 indirect damage to each player. Shoot. Well, both of those will get absorbed into the bubble, which discards the bubble. Um, Honestly, 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're playing Avengers Mansion. We'll go ahead and trigger that to draw a card. Another full body charge. We could metal shards, but that just removes if I metal shards. So it's 2, 3 resources. That leaves me without enough to be able to do anything else. Okay. Too much in my hand here, so I'm going to discard these. Well, I'm going to flip down. And when I do that, do I flip down? I think I can. I think we're okay. Flip down. When I do that, the top 3 cards get shuffled back into my deck. And then I'll use Asteroid M to shuffle the top magnetic card, which there is none, and heal myself 1. I'm back up to 10. And then I think I'm going to discard everything but the Power of Aggression, and we're going to draw 6 cards. One, two, three, four, five, six. So we have a Wrapped in Metal and a Magnetic Missile. Those are a great combo. But otherwise, Wolverine, Professor X, and Dive Bomb. Okay, let's go ahead and ready. Threat goes up by 1. Apocalypse Schemes for 1. That's it. The threat is now at 6. We need to start chipping that away as soon as possible. And we get an encounter card of Staggering Strength. He flips up to Giant Form. And when he does, he heals 2 damage. Okay, this is taking a long time. Okay. Now that's the case, I'm going to go ahead and trigger Asteroid M again, getting metal shards, shuffling it back into my deck, and that'll heal me 1. Avengers Mansion will draw me a card, get a combat training. I'm going to flip up. Stalwart. Ooh, does have a tough. Okay. So I'm going to use Helicarrier, X-Jet, and Power of Aggression to pay for Wolverine. Wolverine is going to attack for 3 on Apocalypse, taking his tough off. Does 3 to him, so he goes down to 9. And he takes 2 consequential. I will thwart for 2, taking this down to 4. Then I'm going to use my magnetic pool. Get a Wrapped in Metal. And it is a mental resource, so I can thwart for 3. But honestly, Magneto's Cape will do that. I'll thwart 3 here. And Psylocke will thwart 2 here. That defeats Psylocke, because she only had 3 health. Didn't get to use her Confuse, but that's okay. Magnetic Missile and the 2 Wrapped in Metals will be 3 resources to pay for Professor X, who's going to ready me. And Professor X will go ahead and thwart 3 off of the Ancient Ritual, bringing it down to 4. And somehow I don't have enough resources for this, so I'm going to thwart 3 off of Ancient Ritual, bringing it down to 1 also. Ready? Professor X has 1 there. Okay. Then I'm going to draw up. 1, 2, 3. We get 1 threat on the main scheme. We get a power counter. He's going to attack for 3, 4, 5 plus a boost. Professor X will defend. 6. Professor X gets defeated. Oh, making a mess. My tough remains, but I'm stunned. We get rid of Staggering Strength. We really need to get going on him. We get an encounter card of Giant Growth. Comes in with 5 threat, and we will get extra things there. All right, my turn begins. We heal 1 from Wolverine. I will attack to remove my stun. Then let me use magnetic pull. There goes Utopia, but we get a metal shards. Get to ready. That was a physical, a mental, and that's it. So I can thwart for 3. Ba, ba, ba. Dive bomb or metal shards. Both of those would do about the same amount. Drop kick would stun him if he wasn't giant form. We can actually do 14 points of damage to him. Already magnetic pulled. Did I? Yeah, because so that's good. I was stunned. I'm going to attack for 3. I'll take him from 9 down to 6. Then I will go ahead and use Master of Magnetism and Magneto's helmet as 3 resources to pay for metal shards. Deal 7 damage to an enemy. If this defeats that enemy, get a tough status card. Well, we already have a tough status card, so there's no point. So he flips out to stage 3. He comes in giant and gets 24 health. Avengers Mansion will draw me a card. Digging deep. Then I guess I might as well dive bomb. So we'll helicarrier and X-Jet. And we'll use drop kick, digging deep to play dive bomb. Deal 7 damage to an enemy, and then 1 to every other enemy. So he goes from 24 down to 17. We got combat training and magnetic missile in my hand. I'm going to discard magnetic missile. And Wolverine will attack for 3, taking him from 17 down to 14. He'll take 2 consequential for that. And we're ready. I think I can deal with an extra encounter card for a minute. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. At this point, we don't even have home technique on the table, and we're in pretty good shape. The threat goes up by 1. He gets a power counter. Magneto will attack for 3 plus a boost. 3, 4, 5. My tough comes off. Then we get an encounter card, and he decks out, which is Shadow of the Past. Lovely. There is acceleration token. We get a Martyr for Mutants and a Exodus. The rest gets shuffled into the deck. There is no deck. Do they become the deck? I think we'll just shuffle them into the rest of the main deck, which is the discard pile at this point. Okay. Exodus comes in with Steady, Toughness, and Villainous. And then Martyr for Mutants comes in with 3 threat. All right. First things first. I will heal Wolverine. Magneto will thwart 2 off of Giant Growth, taking it down to 3. in a magnetic pool. So I get a Master of Magnetism. So I get to thwart for 3 and defend for 3. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and thwart 3 off Martyr for Mutants. When defeated, the defeating player discards the top 9 cards of their deck. 1, 2, 3. We get a Digging Deep. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I decked out. So I get an encounter card. We get the Digging Deep to our hand. And shuffle our deck up. Okay, Avengers Mansion will draw me a card. Magnetic Missile. Wolverine is going to sacrifice himself to deal 3 damage here to Exodus and remove his tough status. Now I will use a Master of Magnetism for an electromagnetic blast. That's what I want to do right now. He's going to activate against me. Quite the schemer. I don't have enough damage in my hand. Yeah. Yeah, I guess that's what we'll do. So we're going to electromagnetic blast to remove 3 threat from giant growth, which means he'll attack me for 3 plus a boost. 3, 4, 5, 6. Dadgum, that takes me down to 5. Then we're gonna have X-Jet, Helicarrier, and Digging Deep be 3 resources for White Queen. She's gonna come in and thwart 2 off of this scheme. She takes consequential. X-Gene and Magnetic Missile are gonna pay for combat training, which will permanently boost my attack by 1. Oh, man. We are in a tight spot. Okay. I'm going to ready. Draw up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Threat goes up by 1. Apocalypse will attack for 3 plus a boost. White Queen will defend. 3, 4, 5. Exodus is going to attack me for 2 plus a boost. I think I defend for 3. I forget, but we're going to say I can defend for 3. So 2, 3, 4, 5. So I take 2 damage. Oh, he would have switched before attacking. So let's walk this back real quick. I take my 2 back. She hasn't defended yet. This would have gone up. We would discard this. Then we discard cards. This would actually have been the superpower. So this would come in. And that wouldn't switch him. So he would still have attacked. He would have gotten an extra boost icon. But 3, 4, 5, 6. So yes, she is defeated. Then he would attack me for 2. I defend for 3. And then he gets changed to Cyberpath form. And I would take no damage. Cyberpath place 3 threat on each scheme in play. So this goes up to 5, and that goes up to 4, and this goes up to 8. It does get a boost, but it's a 2. I'm defending for 3, so 2, 3. Take no damage there. Then we get our encounter cards. Under fire, reveal the top card of the encounter deck and surge. Surge into Clanakaba Zealot, and then giant-sized Despot. So he changes to giant form, which means he heals 3 damage. And then we get a gang up, and that's game. So I let things get a little bit out of control here. I wasn't getting the cards that I needed when I needed them, so that's why we lost. But Magneto can do some really, really good damage if you're able to stay on top of everything, which we just unfortunately were not able to. We didn't have enough thwart, I guess, in the deck. We didn't have enough time to get allies out. I mean, we can go through. So we have 3, 4. I didn't get to defend, so that takes me down to 1. He attacks for 2, and I die. I don't have any defense cards. I don't have anything to protect me. I think even if I had flipped down, I would have lost because he would have schemed for 3 plus a boost. This was at 2, so this would have gone up, and then this would have gone. He would have schemed for plus a boost. Yeah, so things just got out of control. I didn't do enough. I probably should have attacked more than I did. But I think all my attack events sort of just disappeared on me. And I also didn't have Hone Technique out. So with that, my attack events were just not as strong as they could have been. And half the time he was in giant form. And so doing things like drop kick just weren't as efficient as I wanted them to be. So a lot of it I probably just made some poor decisions. But Magneto he's pretty good in aggression. I think he needs a little bit more help with thwarting, especially in solo. But all around, he's an all around kind of person. So he can do a little bit of this, a little bit of that. He's got a lot of readies that he can work with. We also didn't have Utopia, so we didn't get that third ready consistently. Yeah, so that's the game. We lost. But I don't think that means Magneto is a bad character. Okay. Next video is going to be Justice, and we'll see how he does in Justice. Thanks for watching, guys.